Also, Qatari Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdulrahman bin Jassim Al Thani said on Sunday that Israel's recent attack on Doha will not prevent Qatar, Egypt and the United States from continuing their mediation efforts to end the Gaza conflict. Well, the Qatari Prime Minister made the remarks during a closed-door preparatory meeting with foreign ministers from Arab and Islamic countries held ahead of an emergency Arab-Islamic summit scheduled for Monday to address the Israeli attack.
This Israeli aggression will not lead to anything but aborting de-escalating efforts and confirm the Israeli government's intention to reject peaceful paths to resolving the Palestinian issue and to continue defying international will and the UN Charter, as evidenced by repeated statements by Israeli officials regarding the annexation of Palestinian territories and the illusions of a greater Israel.
Well, the foreign ministers discussed a draft statement on the last Tuesday attack by Israel on a residential building in Doha that housed several Hamas leaders. In his talks, Al Thani stressed that the region cannot achieve comprehensive peace and security unless the Palestinian people obtain their legitimate rights. Qatar's Prime Minister urged the international community to reject double standards and hold Israel accountable. And India's Akshay Dongre joins us for more on this. Well, Akshay, given Netanyahu's emphasis on unshakable US-Israel ties despite growing American unease, which we can see, how much strain do you sense behind the scenes, particularly in light of the US's broader regional goals and its relationship with Qatar?
Well, Lipakshi, one thing that Israel has borne besides the Hamas leaders is the misconception of the Qatari leadership, as well as the United Arab misconception that just because they have the US bases in their countries, they will be immune to the conflicts that are going on. There have been a lot of sentiments, a lot of rather accusations that many of the Arab nations have long, been part of some sort of conflict in one way or another, directly or indirectly, under the misconception that just because they house huge military bases of the United States of America and their military, they will not see any kind of harm as far as the widening conflict is concerned. That has been demolished by the Israeli strikes, and that is the reason why there is so much of shock and awe from after the attacks that were carried out by Israel. Because earlier we saw that even when the Iranian government launched sort of missiles at the US base in Qatar, Qatar seemed relaxed, Qatar seemed prepared, and it seemed that it had prior information of the impending strikes. But this time it was sudden, and the Qatari leadership as well is now questioning the entire security misconception that they had, that assurances that they were given by the US military and the US leadership. And especially the most shocking factor is the entire fact that they were not aware about the coming strikes. In fact, the US, when they informed the Qatari side of the coming strikes, the bombing had already started. So that is the reason perhaps Qatar is now trying to realign its entire security apparatus rather than depending on the Western democracies and the European nations. It is now trying to cobble together an alliance of the countries in the region that are getting impacted by the widening conflict. And it seems that now finally there will be some serious attempts made by the Arab nations to wind down this conflict before the fire reaches their homes. Back to you.
Right. As you said, that Qatar is trying to redefine its security, with Qatar reaffirming its commitment to mediation despite being targeted. How does this reshape its role in the Gaza conflict? And is there a risk that the strike could galvanize more unified Arab-Islamic pressure against Israel, as Qatar's Prime Minister urged the international community to reject the double standards and hold Israel accountable?
Right. Lipakshi, I think that this entire a statement that has been given by the Qatari leadership is because they do not have any other option. They have a huge military base there of the United States military, and once it's gone, they have no other protection. They have no no other country that is willing to fill that vacuum. So it seems that the over-reliance on the US and US military, US intelligence, the Qatari people have now been left helpless to find an alternative to the US as far as a net provider of security cover in the region is concerned. And with US moving more toward isolationism, it seems that there will be more attempts in the future to be more self-reliant as far as defenses of the region are concerned by the Arab leadership, especially by investing more money into not just security apparatus, but also fighting terrorism in the region.
All right. Thank you so much, Akshay, for all those details.